Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Morning, everybody. You know what's amazing? How much better you feel after a shower and clean hair and not having to watch somebody's special, at least for a few days. So we're back to our normal reporting, and we've got a lot of royal stuff going on. We've missed a lot in the last 3 days, so let's see if we can do a decent catch up. And then, of course, at the end, we have a few interesting little tidbits. Let's go.
To start with, Prince Charles put out his very first Christmas card. I love that. Also, I wanted to show you some pictures from the palace. Apparently, it's snowing in the UK. We're not having any of that here. But the pictures were just so lovely of the winter wonderland. I can't even imagine. We see snow here. If there's the littlest thread of even ice on the side of the roads, everything shuts down. Well, we don't get to see stuff like this. So I love the photos. Gorgeous. All right, moving on. Prince William did an investiture ceremony. I'm going to get that out. So let's look at some of the people who got their awards. Starting off, we have Miss Roth, who is an author and founder of Making History. She received an MBE for services to literature and women's rights. Next up is Sheila Parker. She was captain of the first England women's team in 1972, and she received an MBE for services to women's football and to charity. Then there's the founder of the Bobby Moore Fund, Stephanie Moore. She received an OBE for her services to bowel cancer research funding. And I need to throw in that I am loving that outfit, especially the hat. Way to go. After that, we have Mr. Buddha, who received an MBE for services to wheelchair rugby after winning gold at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. And lastly, we have Miss McIntyre, who won a gold medal at Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and she received her MBE for services to sailing. Way to go, everybody. Next up, King Charles, along with Justin Welby and other guests, went to a shared Advent service for the Ethiopian Christian Fellowship Church following a visit to King's household to meet some of the local community and partners. Apparently, it was well done. I could be wrong, but I believe this was done in conjunction with a different visit, which you're going to see in just a minute. There's so much that we missed this week. It really is hard to try to keep it straight and keep it all together. I believe they're related, but okay, let's just keep going. Next up, the Duke of Kent went to the STEAM Museum. That's science, technology, engineering, art, and math, I believe it is. And he viewed, an engine, a locomotive that belonged to King George V, and some other interesting items. All right, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Wrexham, I hope that's right. They received city status. And so the king and queen went there. Here's a small little snippet of them arriving. Watch this. So the king and queen went through the square. By the way, that looks like a really nice, well, now it's got status, but it looks like a really nice village. I love these big churches, and they're so steeped in history. I'm going to get there one day, I swear. All right. So anyway, they go around, and then of course the king deferred the status on them. While they were there, they did a royal visit to the race course grounds. I think that would really be interesting. Maybe they'll show up there to watch some races. Sticking with Charles, in memory of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, some oak saplings that were grafted from the Pontfagdog oak were planted. Here's a little snippet for you to peruse. Watch this. Also, in honor of his mother, the king wrote a foreword for a new book to honor Queen Elizabeth that's named The Queen's Green Canopy. It was published in June of 2023, and it celebrates the ancient woodlands and trees that were dedicated to Queen Elizabeth during the Platinum Jubilee. Next up, King Charles went to the Royal College for the Blind today, the Royal National College, where he got to meet several students. He spoke to the students and the staff in the gym. He took a look at the technology that they're using to help teach these students. He met a guide dog named Bobby, and then he took a lovely picture with them. Way to go, Charles. Next up, we have Catherine in this gorgeous dress doing a promo for the Christmas Carol special at Westminster Abbey. I believe it's on the 15th. She looks lovely in that dress. And I knew she looked familiar. I was trying to place it. And then again, I just love the Twitter people because they're like bloodhounds. If there's something that you need to find, everybody keeps their receipts on there. So anyway, this picture popped up of Catherine and William, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And then there it was, from Sarah's Secret. She wore that dress in 2020 at the UK Africa Investiture, and then again, she recycled it and wore it for this. Now here's a little video snippet of her in that dress. Watch this. Yes, I know. They're so cold and aloof, and they never show any affection towards each other. It's terrible. All right, moving on. Well, FYI, here's a picture from the event. All right, now we can move on. Next up, we are congratulating Princess Anne and her husband, Sir Timothy Lawrence. They are having their 30th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. All right, here we go. Housing and support. Secret Weapon Sophie, who is the royal patron, was at their recent 50th anniversary gala evening, and she was hearing all about how they had supported people and helped them turn their lives around. That's right up her alley. You know, I'm not just saying this. I really like that dress on her. Very nice. All right, moving on. Prince William went to meet Santa and gave him Prince George's list. Yeah. Okay, well, we know William wanted to be a policeman when he was younger, but apparently George is asking for a police car. Sorry, George, I don't think you're going to get it. Now, moving on to the United States, two of our very celebrated comedians had something to say at SNL. Watch this.
You know, Steve, we are like Harry and Meghan. No one's rooting for us, but you'll tune in to watch anyway.
Yeah, that about sums it up. All right, moving on. One of the local pubs there, one of the London pubs, decided to launch a new beer called Harry's Bitter. Apparently, it's extremely weak in honor of Harry, and not that good, from what I've been told. All right, moving on. All right, next up, the bill to remove titles. Now, as you can see, it says it gives the monarch power to remove the titles or following a recommendation of a joint commission of parliament. So basically, I think they've had enough. And if Charles won't do it, they're going to do it. Yep. All right, moving on. I couldn't help but notice during the, not the Oprah special, this Netflix thing that, Doria said, you don't take money. That's not what you do as a parent. That's not right. However, she has now taken over as boss of an elderly care home that apparently it looks like was purchased by Harry and Meghan. And there's talks and information out that they gave her an allowance. So she didn't have to ask the photogs for money because Harry and Meghan were willingly giving her money, which I find a little hypocritical, seeing as how you're sitting on TV telling everybody Thomas did wrong. If it's true, because remember, it's just allegedly. Next up, I want to say a big thank you to Pilot Hardy, about Meghan saying she never wore color, because this shows better than anything that I could have. Way to go. All right, next up, do you guys remember I showed you these photos? These are the pictures where Harry and Meghan, they were in this house. It wasn't theirs. It was like a rental. You're not going to believe this. Unbelievable. This house belongs to a CEO who bilked veterans out of their money, disabled veterans. This is who they chose. This is whose house they chose to sit in. Unbelievable. All right, moving on. You guys remember Marlene? I'm not even going to try to, pronounce the fake made up name. She apparently has stopped charity operations because she said they're unsafe because she's received abuse online. Well, I think that's because everybody pretty much knew that what you did was a setup, especially after it turned out that you knew, is it Meeson Harmon personally, who's Meghan Markle's favorite photographer. As soon as that link was shown, and as soon as you went on TV and claimed you never tweeted about Meghan, even though people had the tweets, and as soon as it all came spilling out, you would accuse the king and queen of domestic violence, then I think we all knew what was really going on. But next up, the lady on the right is a political analyst for the UK. She was on African TV. Here's what she had to say about that situation. Listen to this.
An elderly lady of particular breeding asked a lady who was a guest at the palace in a full African dress with an African name that, by the way, was fake, where she was from, what her heritage was. Ngozi, or should I say Marlene, led that conversation, and it was a complete and utter setup. The lady in question has now closed her charity over alleged fear for her safety. There's been no mention of what is really going on, that her charity is being investigated, seriously investigated for fraud.
Now, the stories are also coming out now that the whole thing was Meghan was jealous of William and Catherine. She wanted the same funding, the same lifestyle, the same house, the same everything. And then when she couldn't get it, she was upset and throwing temper tantrums. That's what this article is insinuating. I could totally see that. I have no issue seeing that whatsoever. No, I want to go back to this fabulous UK political analyst because she had a few other things to say, including the attacks on the Commonwealth. So you guys just listen to this.
The Queen's legacy, as we know, nobody has done more for cultural and race relations, especially through the Commonwealth. For Harry and Meghan to have produced what they have, playing a very dangerous game, members of Parliament are now seeing them, I think, as a very real threat, which is why everybody is calling for them to be stripped of their titles.
Now, she asks at this point about the cries of racism from Harry and Meghan. Listen to this.
The problem with Harry and Meghan is they contradict themselves, and they contradict themselves frequently. And this documentary has shown that. They have departed the UK under allegations of racism, yet they were working with Netflix and with Oprah Winfrey to tell their story right from the day they got engaged almost. So how can we believe that? They've actually blown their story with their own documentary. My question to them would be, why are you not naming and shaming? Harry and Meghan are being very, very broad in their terms. If you really have got a message and you have got something to say and somebody was causing you particular grief, then you come out and say so. They have never done that. The documentary, all the way down the line from what's been seen, they've just been called out in lie after lie after lie. And they don't look good. I don't think that this is helping their cause whatsoever.
Well, then she brought up Gayle King, which I think was very important.
This is precisely what members of Parliament are talking about. And it begs the question, Gayle King, I'm sure you've heard of Gayle King, who is a black American TV presenter and a friend of the Sussexes, was quoted this week saying that she did not believe that the royal family was racist, and pointed straight at Harry and Meghan at the RFK Ripple of Hope Awards in New York, saying, and they don't believe it either. Now, this is absolutely huge. If this is true and they don't believe that the family are racists, why are they doing it? There are serious, serious questions that need to be asked here.
Oh my, you guys. So before we go, we have to look, because of course, Harry and Meghan are not going to stop. They just dropped another trailer, and Boosie's in it. Ooh, he better be careful what he says, because, So let's just take a quick look at that.
So it starts off with Tyler Perry's plane taking off and Harry filming in the camera going, we're on the Freedom flight, because they claim they had their security pulled without warning, which of course we know is a lie. Then you've got Meghan Markle going, I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves. Then you've got Christopher Boozy going, they were paid to disseminate information. You have to wonder who the they are. He's not really specific. Then something odd happened. You see this picture above? On the Twitter feed, it says, they were happy to lie to protect my brother. But that's very interesting because on the Netflix feed, it says the media was willing to lie to protect my brother. Then the pictures go on, showing what a wonderful life they have. Now, a lot of these photos were taken during the Platinum Jubilee behind the scenes with that Harriman man, which that's why he was there for Lilibet's party. He took photos in Frogmore, outside Frogmore. That's why they really went back for the Platinum Jubilee. They went back to get the photos. Then Tyler Perry, only the second A-lister to make an appearance, says they just wanted to be happy. They just wanted to be free. Okay, well, they're free. But I don't think they're very happy because their kids didn't get the titles. Charles cut off their money. And so I think that's what this whole thing is about. I think this is revenge because the royal family wouldn't play games with them. People that are truly happy in their lives and thriving don't, after all these years, continue to slam their family for perceived slights. They show Archie running through a corn maze. They show Harry walking on the beach. They show Meghan trying to hold up Lily while she walks. If your life is so fabulous, then why are you doing this? I know why you're doing this, because they didn't give your kids the titles and you're pushing to see how far you can go. I think this probably will be the last thing that you do. But at least now we have a decent idea of what's coming down the pike. Poor me, pity me. All right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but right now I am so happy to be back reporting on the working royals and all the wonderful work that they're doing. Don't forget to leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget you can go up into the description box and get the links to my Twitter, Getter, Rumble, Patreon, my email address. For those of you who've donated through my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.